Even as alarm bells are ringing over the mysterious killer virus in China, an Indian national has fallen victim to the SARS-like coronavirus. Preeti Maheshwari, a 45-year-old school teacher, has been admitted to a hospital in Shenzhen since the 11th of January. Maheshwari teaches art at the International School of Science and Technology, and this is the first case of a foreign national to be infected by the deadly virus. She is suffering from type 1 respiratory failure, multiple organ dysfunction syndrome and septic shock. Preeti Maheshwari's brother has also launched an online campaign to raise funds for the Indian national's treatment. The cost of the treatment is estimated to be around 1 crore Indian rupees. Moving on, South Korea has also confirmed its first case of the mysterious coronavirus. South Korea's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed that it is a 35-year-old Chinese woman and a resident of Wuhan. She was detected with symptoms of the virus while entering South Korea and has been isolated ever since. The patient felt symptoms like fever, chills and muscle pain. South Korea has raised the infection alert level from attention to caution following the case.
확진 환자는 검역 단계에서 확인되어 지역사회에 노출은 없는 상황입니다. 항공기 동승 승객과 승무원 등 접촉자는 현재 조사가 진행 중이며
The outbreak took place in the Chinese city of Wuhan, where 136 cases have been reported alone, which brings China's infected toll to 139 people. 3 people have lost their lives following the outbreak of the SARS-like coronavirus in China. The disease has also spread to Beijing now. At least 2 people have been detected with the coronavirus-related pneumonia in the capital. 1 case has also been reported in Japan and 2 cases in Thailand. Third country to get affected is South Korea. Let's take a closer look now and understand the virus. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that cause illness ranging from common cold to more severe diseases like Middle East respiratory syndrome. A novel coronavirus is a new strain that has not been previously seen in human beings. Coronaviruses are zoonotic, which means that they can be transmitted between animals and human beings. The outbreak in the Chinese city of Wuhan is being linked to a large seafood and animal market. It suggests a possible zoonotic origin to the outbreak. The World Health Organization has listed some of the common signs and symptoms of the infection, which include fever, cough, shortness of breath and breathing difficulties in severe cases, pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome and kidney failure. The Union Health Ministry has swung into action. The ministry has issued a travel advisory for China and also reviewed India's preparedness. The travelers from China will be screened at Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata airports. What do you do if you feel sick on the flight back to India? Immediately contact the flight crew and ask for a face mask. Remember to avoid close contact with fellow passengers and follow the directions of the flight crew while disembarking. And our correspondent Patrick Falk is now joining us live from Beijing for more on that. Patrick, just how serious a concern is the latest outbreak and what exactly is the reaction that you've been able to gather so far?
Well, look, it's a massive concern, particularly at this time of the year. And this is exactly what authorities would have wanted to avoid when people are going around by the droves, by the millions this week as they return home to friends and family for the spring festival holidays. 136 new cases were reported by authorities in Wuhan just this morning. That's a dramatic jump from the 62 cases we knew about previously. And more significantly, it's the first time that authorities have said that there are confirmed cases of this outbreak outside of Wuhan. As you mentioned, a couple of cases in Beijing Beijing and 1 case in Shenzhen as well. So there are still a lot of concerns that it may in fact be worse than authorities are letting on. And you wonder to what extent this report that was released by the MRC Centre for Global Infectious Diseases Analysis in London on Friday, it said that there were probably closer to 1,700 cases in China right now. So you wonder to what extent that might have prompted authorities here to perhaps release some figures that were just a little bit more realistic, as we already knew, and a lot of people have been criticizing authorities for not really showing more data about this, given the fact that we already knew there were cases in places like Hong Kong and Thailand and Japan.
I was just coming to that. Bring us up to speed with the measures that have already been taken by the authorities when it comes to the advisories, the precautionary measures, and also the action that is now being taken to prevent the disease from spreading further.
Well, look, actually, some of the health experts I've been speaking to haven't criticized China necessarily for the way they've been handling the outbreak. They said that they were actually pretty quick to go and clear up that market in Wuhan and try and disinfect it to prevent it from spreading any further. So the criticism really seems to be focused on sharing of information, which a lot of people feel is lacking at this time. That said, they really have stepped up efforts screening people that are traveling around this time of the year. I just saw some visuals a moment ago of people being checked on flights for fevers, and that's happening at rail stations across here in Beijing as well. But the difficulty is, that this is normal flu season, so it's quite difficult to tell whether or not people just have regular fevers, or is this a fever or flu that's related to this coronavirus. And the other thing, of course, people are really worried about is whether or not the disease can be transmitted from humans to human. It does seem as though it's rather unlikely at this time, but authorities haven't ruled that out. That said, they have tested more than 700 people that were in close contact with some of the victims that we know about already, and there's no indication for the time being that human transmission is possible.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Patrick, appreciate very much for joining us with all of those updates, and we keep coming back to you, of course, as and when we get in further reaction.